A game I haven't talked about in a long time now, Dead Matter, the Canadian survival game that had everybody by the balls with every single dev blog that they were putting out, including myself. And then when the game actually came into its first alpha state, we realized a lot of the stuff that they were talking about was kind of horse shit. A little while ago, a YouTuber by the name of BigfryTV put out an expose video on Dead Matter, the developers, and kind of the behind the scenes, dealings. They took money from the Kickstarter and Indiegogo. They raised upwards of 1.2 million, and they produced us one of the worst alpha experiences that I had seen in quite some time. And at that time, I held out hope. I said, you know what? Let's see what happens. And a year or two goes by, and nothing happened at all. Who would have thought, huh? So that video came out from Kira, and it blew my fucking mind as somebody who followed so closely some of the stuff that he found out talking to former members of the staff. Wow. Crazy shit. And so what does Dead Matter do? Well, they released a new dev blog today, and we're gonna watch it together. Knowing what I know now about how bad the management has been running this fucking studio, I'm very, very curious as to what these guys can even say to try to bring people back on board. We're gonna get into it. My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like on it, a dislike if you didn't. Pick up a t-shirt at BigfryShop.com. Let's get into it. We got to do it. You guys know we're going back to Canada here, guys. We have to don the hat. It's something that just needs to be done.
My name is Anton. I'm a community associate here at QI Games.
Got the Timmies and everything, dude.
Today's vlog. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, so let me briefly catch you up to speed on what's been going down in 2022.
Nothing.
At the beginning of the year, we restructured QI Games in order to achieve our goals for an early access release.
Yeah.
Over the past year, we've hired a new team, tackled plenty of technical debt, and begun to mold the gameplay of Dead Matter so it can live up to the initial vision we set out to accomplish. We've hired several industry veterans to lead our company, and their experience has helped us expand our team size as well as ensure that we have a steady production pipeline. With more senior leadership, we've seen a huge boost to QI Games productivity over the last several months. Over that time, we've managed to launch 3 closed alpha updates to our backers, with each update bringing drastic changes to Dead Matter, and with the combined pedigree of new and old staff, laid a clear path to early access. For today's vlog, we're going to focus on where the game is right now and the changes we're making for our next closed alpha update, as well as the scope for our initial early access launch. What you'll see today is the work we're putting in to release a solid initial early access version of Dead Matter. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it.
Okay.
First, we're going to talk about Infected. We're currently working on improving the Infected spawning system and AI systems to increase the level of immersion in Dead Matter. What this means is that Infected should spawn in a way that feels natural in the game world.
Okay.
On top of that, our AI changes should improve other Infected behaviors. For example, when you alert one Infected, they will alert other nearby Infected within a certain radius, causing them to form a horde.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have seen this before from these guys at least 3 years ago in their earlier dev blogs. This is nothing new, but at the same time, it's weird because that wasn't in the build. That was never in the alpha. Even though they showed it being developed, we just never saw it. So now we're we're back to square one at this point. This is kind of wild to see.
This also opens up our Infected behavior so we can start to incorporate different playstyles, like stealth.
Okay.
Aside from Infected behavior, we've also begun remodeling our Infected using Unreal's metahumans. But we're also adding our own custom detailing to give them that undead look.
Yeah, that looks way better.
Models are already looking a lot better.
That guy looked fucked up. I'm gonna pull back here. I want to see this picture. So yeah, this looks terrible. This looks a lot better. I'll give him that. That looks. Hold on. Let me just kill my camera here for 1 sec. So clearly looks better, right? Like, all right. But now let's get to this point here.
Look. These new Infected models are
Hold on.
already looking up.
Look, who the fuck is that? Who? That looks like an older version of me. Shit, am I that fit in the future? God damn, dude.
a lot better, and we're excited to expand these models as development progresses. It's
All right.
not just our infected models getting an upgrade.
Okay.
We've also done the same with our player models.
Sure.
Our initial model set will be limited, but we will expand over the course of development.
Yeah.
Moving away from our previous models is another step in the right direction for improving the overall look of Dead Matter. The scope of our initial early access launch is something else we'd like to clarify in this vlog.
Sure.
We've decided to limit the initial size of the map for early access launch, so we can focus on refining key locations and creating a more interesting and immersive.
Wait, are you guys seeing the video skipping in the background?
We've decided to limit the initial size of the map for early
What the
access
fuck
launch,
is going
so we can
on?
focus on refining key locations and creating a more interesting and immersive open world experience. The initial map will focus on the town of Deadman's Flats, as well as some surrounding locations outside of the town and getting into the mountains.
Do you guys remember when they were talking about simultaneously having multiple maps on different servers that you could cross between? and now we're here. We got one little village. Oh my god, bro. You know what? If they pull it off, great. It's what a tragedy.
Don't get it wrong, this map is still large.
Sure.
And there will be plenty of things to explore in this slice of the game alone.
Cool.
Also, as development continues after early access launch and after our full launch, we will continue to expand the map in future updates.
Sure.
Another thing I'd like to announce is our composer. We've hired Alexander Brandon to score Dead Matter. We're excited to start implementing these tracks into the game, and we're using some of the
Cool.
music he wrote for Dead Matter in today's vlog. Now, let's take a look at some of the locations that will appear in early access.
For like music and stuff, like we're on our own game development journey now. So like I want to hear some of the music. Like obviously they said they're using it for the track in this dev blog, but like I want to hear a little bit of it. Bump that volume up.
Keep in mind that all of these locations are in our closed alpha and therefore still a work in progress.
Sure.
As we highlight a few of these locations, I want to discuss a few of the graphical changes we've made as a team over the past couple of months. First off is the implementation of Lumen, which allows for far more dynamic and realistic lighting scenarios in Dead Matter. We have also spent our time creating a volumetric cloud system and a retro
Clouds look good.
system that improves the look of road signs and other reflective materials.
That's cool.
We've also optimized our virtual texturing system, which assists with the amount of memory being used to render textures in our open world, thereby improving performance. This combination of technologies is really elevating our game into another level of graphical fidelity, and it's helping us achieve our goals for capturing a realistic aesthetic for Dead Matter. Now let's take a quick look at some of the more subtle gameplay changes coming to Dead Matter. The first thing I want to discuss is the change.
You can see the performance. Clearly it's alpha, right? But here's what I will say. This is a lot more of an honest representation of where the game is at. And that's, if they would have just done that initially and set our expectations in check initially, instead of showing all of this stuff that you guys are working on but never existed in the game in the first place, I don't think you guys would have been in the spot that you were. This, at least to me, feels more honest. After their track record, I don't know if I believe a fucking word of what they're saying, but it feels more realistic.
Dead Matter. Now let's take a quick look at some of the more subtle gameplay changes coming to Dead Matter. The first thing I want to discuss is the changes to looting that our team is currently making.
Sure.
Loot is an important element of any survival game, and we needed to overhaul our looting system to improve the gameplay of Dead Matter. The first thing our team did was redesign containers to spawn loot based on the container's location in the game world. So, if you open a drawer in a hunting cabin, it will spawn loot that is relevant for that hunting cabin.
Sure.
Whereas a drawer in a townhome will have a different set of loot to draw from. This loot change is based on a dynamic loot volume system. In short, this system allows us to set loot spawning rules for different locations all over the map. Moreover, we can add additional layers like differentiating a kitchen and a bathroom within that dynamic loot volume. As a result, we can make loot spawn randomly, but also be much more contextual to the location that you find it on the map.
That's cool.
Our team has also worked hard on creating a tier system for loot. This tier system ranks items based on their value. It is important for us to structure the flow of each player's gameplay experience, and having a tier system helps us do that. This works hand in hand with our map design and other gameplay elements, so players get a sense of progression as they play the game. When you first spawn into the world, you're going to typically find lower tier loot. As you continue to explore, you will come across more dangerous locations that will obviously have much better loot. It's a simple concept, but it gives the game an actual sense of momentum as you play through the game for several hours. The last thing I'll share today is the changes we've been making to our medical system. Our team is dissecting and fixing our medical system to ensure that status effects and damage are properly being applied. Additionally, our team is making sure that these ailments to the player character can be treated with bandages or medicine, and that those items are having an effect on the player. It sounds simple, but what we're going for here is not a system that just works, but one that actually adds to the gameplay experience of Dead Matter. We're striving for a fairly in-depth system here, and we want to ensure that this system is easy to expand in the future and interesting for players during gameplay. We will have more to share with you as this work continues in the future. That's it for this Road to Early Access vlog. I highly encourage you to read our September blog post written by our development team to get a more in-depth breakdown of some of the changes discussed in this vlog. By the way, Dead Matter is available to wishlist on Steam, so please consider hitting that wishlist button so you can be among the first to play the game when it reaches its early access phase. Stay tuned to our blog for more details about Dead Matter's development, and we will return with a new vlog around Closed Alpha 0.10. Thank you for watching.
So Dead Matter is back, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, man, there's a reason why there's so many fucked up survival games out there, and it's just simply because in order to pull off something that big and not have it be a janky alpha piece of shit, it requires so much talent, so many resources that a lot of these indie dev studios just don't have. The pinnacle of the survival genre, and some people might call it Rust, some people might call it DayZ, whatever it is that you call it. I look at both of those titles and I see that they aren't even living up to what a lot of people want out of a survival game, but they are the blueprint for what people are playing now in survival games. Dead Matter was looking to be the one to dethrone all other survival games. What they were showing in their dev blogs was nothing short of incredible. We all know how the story goes though. When it went to alpha, it was a fucking disaster. They obviously and clearly made a lot of mistakes, and I don't trust any of them at the studio. With that said though, if they can start on a path to being honest, being transparent, and showing us where exactly they are at in development, even if it's like slow to zero progress, just tell us that. Don't try to force feed us shit that's never gonna be in the builds that we're playing or testing or whatever. Be honest, be open, and you guys might have a chance, because there's still a lot of people out here who are looking for a survival game just like this. And I know that if these guys can pull it off, a lot of people will be chomping at the bit to get in there. We see a lot of games in the survival genre fumble the ball. Survive the Nights comes to mind. That game has gone leaps and bounds ahead of where they were. It's still not up to where it needs to be, but that game was the Dead Matter before Dead Matter. I think for me, like, if they pull it off, I'll play it. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of you guys might feel the same way, but I'm curious. Let me know what you guys think down below of this dev blog and where you're at with Dead Matter. Clearly, it is nowhere close to being playable, or at least, like, you know, you can play it, but like, do you really want to fucking play it? It's one of those things. One of my mods in my Discord left a comment on this video, and I think it resonates very well with where I'm at. And he says, honestly, no one should believe anything they say anymore. Let's wait for actual results rather than listening to them. Shout out to K-Jack. That is exactly how I feel. The dev blogs are cool. I'll follow along until we're able to showcase the game and play the game, and it's fun. Until you get to that point, the game is literally that. It is a dead matter. And I'm at the point now where it's been so many years since we've talked about this game. Like, go do your thing and come back to us in early access with a game that is fun to play. If you go to early access too early though, you're fucked. That's really what it comes down to. You are now, as this dev blog has said, you're on the road to early access. Do not fuck up or squander that launch. You need it. You need that launch to show people, hey, we fucked up. It was rough as hell. Let's start fresh. And if you don't have that, what's the fucking point? And I know that these guys are probably feeling the pressure, and I know they are trying to create a game in a genre that a lot of people have super high expectations for. I feel for them, but at the same time, they clearly flat out lied to us for years. So it's what do you say? At this point, I'm kind of just like, all right, Dead Matter. I saw this video where it's like, oh, I gotta look at this. And at least I will give them that. This does look like an honest representation of where we're at in development. Some of those shots were dropping frames. You saw zombies spawning in. It's early days still. If they can pull it off, great. They clearly have a studio space. They clearly have better management, hopefully. According to them, it's been good. Let's see the fucking results. That's it, guys, for me. I wanted to drop this video. Let's show you guys that Dead Matter is apparently still trying to, you know, they're treading water, and let's just hope that they can maybe get into, you know, a little breaststroke and get us to the finish line, all right? My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching. Again, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, a dislike if you didn't. I'm gonna take this fucking hat off, and I'll see you on the next one.